Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a presentation. Come on in, everybody. Welcome.
So you had
yeah, people who showed up that went through.
We're going to start with a little music. But first, if I can get everyone's attention, I love doing this with a microphone. Hey, where are you from? Okay, welcome, Elaine Garcia. All right. My name is Bernie Sheckman. I have the pleasure of serving as the interim superintendent, and I'm going to turn it over. We have from McQuitty, Mirren McDullen, and the McQuitty Mallet Band. I had to ask a question. What is a mallet band? I should have been able to figure it out.
This is our Mustang Mallet Ensemble. This is a group that had to fill out an application in order to be in this group. And we play, these are mallet instruments. They're xylophones. We also call them Orff instruments sometimes because they're used a lot in the Orff-Schulberg method of music education. We're going to play a piece for you today called Hungarian Dance Tune.
applause. Thank you. And thank you all of you for being here. Appreciate it. Any parents of the little guys here today? Okay, probably all working. Again, I welcome you. My name is Murray Shetland. I have the pleasure of serving as interim superintendent this year. And today is our day to share with the community the state of our district. Monica Morales was scheduled to be our first speaker. She's running a little bit late. But we have a gentleman, John Laird. He's kind of bashful, so I hope he'll be okay with coming up first. I had the pleasure of sitting with our senator at the Food What dinner 2 weeks ago, and he reminded me of where we first met. He came knocking at my door. I lived on Brentwood in the heart of Watsonville, and I believe it was when you were running for assembly, and we had a nice conversation there. He was sworn in as our state senator for the District 17 on December 7th, 2020. He served as our California Secretary for Natural Resources, appointed by Governor Jerry Brown. He also served as a member of the State Integrated Waste Management Board. He's been very involved in environmental policy, and we're extremely fortunate that he was first in the Assembly and is now our senator. While serving the maximum of 3 terms in the Assembly, he authored 82 bills that were signed into law, and it just gives me great pleasure and a great sense of pride to have John Laird here today. He showed up last week at 2 of our schools to witness Elsie Stema, the beginning and then a little more of an advanced band, and he had a big smile watching the McCoy kids, and we're just really happy and proud of you. Thank you so much. Take it away.
Thank you very much. This is apparently the bashful section of our program. I thought I would sort of set the context for today's event. And the interesting thing is that 34 years ago this afternoon, the earth shook. And it sort of, in many ways, sets the context for what we're here today about. And it's interesting because I was on the Santa Cruz City Council, and this executive director of a very fledgling organization called Salud para la Gente kept calling me in Santa Cruz, and she kept saying, people are camped out in Watsonville. There are Latin families that are in the parks. Nobody's paying any attention to them. It's like they need help. And I was sort of like, our downtown's fallen down, they're digging people out, people are living in their front yards, there's no power. I sort of have my hands full, but talk to the county about it. And at the time, there was a city council election set for Watsonville. And there'd only been one Latino member of the city council in modern times. And at that point, it was a 60% Latino population in Watsonville. And that election was canceled because of the earthquake. And it never was held because the court held for district elections. And the next election was actually for district elections. And that earthquake ended the life of the Watsonville Hospital at its location out by Green Valley Road. And so it was just a line of demarcation for Watsonville. And you fast forward to now, and what we're here to talk about. I mean, there's a very diverse government. The population is at least 82% Latino in Watsonville. And what's had to happen is Watsonville in many ways had to reinvent itself. And that's what the school district is doing. I mean, finally, after 30 years, the hospital's back in public hands. At the time of the earthquake, people walked the levees and were worried that they had shaken. And finally, we have a project ready to go to provide safety. Unfortunately, it's not here in time for Mother Nature. And the school district, and it's interesting, when I did the bill to create the Watsonville Hospital District, and I had to do it in 19 days from the time I amended it to the time that the governor signed it, there was no time for elaborate discussions that you usually have in a 7 or 8 month process for a bill. So I took the boundaries of the Pajaro School District, took out Aptos, and dropped it in the bill, and those are the boundaries of the hospital district. So it mirrors exactly what we're talking about. And the exciting thing is that you just look at a new levy project, people trying to step up for the people of Pajaro, Watsonville Hospital being saved, the different things that have happened. Watsonville is alive, and I see it in the school district. We're here to celebrate. Murray mentioned that I went out to see El Sistema. It was amazing. I was just sort of blown away by what I saw, and I really, when I went to one piece, there was a 3rd grader there, and I just couldn't believe he was doing what he was doing. And in that same group, there was a mother. And I talked to the mother afterwards, and she said, I want to support my kid. So I'm taking music and participating in this with them. And it was just fascinating. And I've been to the culinary program. That is phenomenal, the donations that came in, what is being done. I've been to the class of agriculture at Watsonville High to see what they're doing. I've been to the wetland stuff at Pajaro Valley High School. And so, to me, it is really amazing what's going on in the school district. And I know it's my job. I happen to chair the Education Budget Subcommittee in the Senate, which is half the budget. And in the last 3 years, we have lifted kindergarten through 12 spending by 25%. We used to be in the bottom 10% of the states, and we're getting to the point that we're almost in the middle of all 50 states. We are lifting it up, and we've added pre-K and TK and are phasing that in. We augmented the child care to increase slots, increase pay, do many different things, and we do it because we know we're in partner with school districts like this that really enable things. And last year the voters decided to add money for arts and music, and I know this is being taped, so I have to be careful. The governor's administration decided then to cut dramatically the existing money so that the ballot money wouldn't be new money. It would be barely a gain. And so we worked really hard in this budget to restore most of the existing money so that the money that comes from the initiative for music and arts is in essence new money, and you truly can expand the programs. And so we do all that, but in partnership here. And it was really interesting. I said it last year, I think, when I spoke, that when I did the Watsonville Hospital bill, I tried to explain what kind of community this was. And it does not do it justice to say disadvantaged. It is more complicated. And the thing that helped me was the annual report from the Pajaro School District that listed free and reduced lunch, English language learners, housing security, other things, so that I could describe to my colleagues in the legislature exactly who they were helping by creating a public hospital district. And so the school here, the district, has done amazing things. And I know we're heading into uncharted budget waters, and you can't do it if we don't do it. And we've been doing it the last few years, and it's my goal to continue to do it because you take it and run with it. You know, you really do it, whether it's culinary, whether it's the wellness center, agriculture. You fit with what the community is, and you lift up everybody here. So that's why I'm here, because when you hear the state of the district, that's the state of the district that I see. And sometimes when you're close to something, you don't see it the same way. I'm not a resident of the Pajaro School District, so coming in and looking at it, I see just amazing growth, amazing progress, trying to take certain things and turn them to strengths. And so There are these times in my job where you walk away and say, oh, we can't let these people down. I've got to figure out a way that we continue this funding in every piece, whether it's basic K through 12, whether it's in the arts, or whether it's in TK pre-K, whether it's in child care. We've got to keep this momentum going. And so I think it's an amazing tribute that all of you are here. I'm sorry I can't stay but a few minutes longer, but I wanted to kick it off with just how far you've come and what an amazing place this is. So congratulations on the work you're doing, and none of us are done yet. We're not going to rest on our laurels.
Thank you, Senator Larry. This one on? Yeah. I don't need a microphone. Wow. Thinking of what this gentleman has done for this community. Living here, working in Sacramento, in his words today. Thank you, thanks. Really appreciate it. And he's kind of a fun guy, too. Monica Morales is next, and we're really grateful, our hometown young lady. Health Services Agency Director at the County of Santa Cruz. Ms. Morales directs programs focused on environmental health, public health, behavioral health, and clinical services. Obviously, all areas very important to our kids and our families and our staff. Prior, Monica was the Deputy Director for the Center for Healthy Communities at the California Department of Public Health. She was also the Child, Family, and Community Wellness Deputy Bureau Chief at the State of Nevada's Division of Public and Behavioral Health. Monica was raised right here, holds a BA in Sociology from my alma mater. I also majored in Sociology at UC Santa Cruz, and we came out okay. She came out.
All of us did.
Bunch of banana slugs here. Master's in Public Policy and Administration from Columbia University. She went to Salsi Pleiades Elementary, EA Hall, and Watsonville High, and we welcome you back. You know, one of the things I can verify, she's so smart. She took this job kind of after COVID.
Can you hear me? Yes. All right. So I think I did something. I'm so sorry. I'm not very tech-savvy. So good morning to everybody. As mentioned, my name is Monica Morales. I was raised here. I actually see some familiar faces in the room. That's good. I can try to play music. And so why don't I continue? I have my little notes here. So I am a product of a farm worker mother who immigrated from Mexico when I was 3 years old, and she brought me with her, and she was pregnant for my brother. So I grew up here in the Pajaro Valley, jumped around to different homes, went to Salsi Pleiades. I actually went to a ton of summer schools, right? Because your parent doesn't have childcare, so they send you to summer school. So I went to Salsi Pleiades, I went to the Freedom Schools, I went, you name it. But I graduated from Salsi Pleiades for elementary, and also EA Hall, and Watsonville Community High School in about the 90s. I was 97, there we go. So I'm aging myself. You know, and through that process, I never obviously imagined being here. I think like many kids during that time, many of our parents, you know, they're working their tail off to just really bring us and raise us to the best of their ability. And academic growth or an understanding of going to universities, they knew we had to work hard. Tienes que trabajar, si no te voy a llevar a los files, right? And I remember working in the fields with my mom, and her lecturing me, if you don't want your life to be this, then you have to stay in school. I was never a straight A student. I was never a valedictorian. But what I did have around me that helped me was a person that cared. And I still remember those either teachers or counselors. Yeah, that's when we were just phasing out counselors. So I think that tells you a lot, right? This is in the 80s. And I remember just those, you know, I was reflecting, you know, the past week, like, oh my God, I'm gonna give a talk, what am I gonna say? And I had all this data to share with you guys, and I said, I just wanna tell you thank you for changing the lives of children that historically don't necessarily have the resources, the wealth to really move ahead. And it took one person caring of each school for me, in each elementary or junior high, and I have names still in my head. And it's those subtle things for me that I think really impact our youth and our students. I remember Mrs. Wine in 2nd grade. I was freezing my tail off, didn't have a jacket, it was raining, and she would let me in her classroom early, just because she knew I had nowhere else to go, right? And I still remember her. And I never had the chance to thank her. So through you today, I want to thank you, because I know that you're touching students' lives, and it just takes one person. Mrs. Lockett and Mr. Jones and E.A. Hall. And granted, you have made tremendous progress. I do meet with Ferris often, and he shares with me all of the great work that's happening here. I have a chance to meet with your leadership. And I'm like, God, I never had any of that. I didn't have the school gardens. I didn't have, now we have wellness centers. But I'm grateful that our students do, because it just takes that one person. In E.A. Hall, I always used to go to the office. I don't know why, because I think I liked Lupe, who used to be the receptionist. I don't think you guys remember Lupe. But she will always just say, ¿Cómo estás? How's your mom? She didn't know my mom. She would say, how's your mom? Because I think she was just trying to ensure that I was okay. And I was looking for security as a young person during that time. I didn't have a stable home. But it was the schools that really shifted my perspective, and adults that cared. And back to my story about Mrs. Lockett and Mr. Jones. They would have us, I liked math, but I was never strong in math, but they would do activities with us during the weekends, even though they didn't have to. They had a group of us. We're all little Latina girls. They used to take us to like science fairs across, the different counties. They didn't have to do that, but they believed in us, right? And I still remember those, and I still remember not having money, and then helping me for lunch. So again, just to share with you that right now we need caring parents, caring adults, caring influencers and mentors more than anything. Okay, I will have to share some data with you, because I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't, as a health director. We are really at a devastating stage right now when it comes to the mental health and substance use of our children, and you guys all know that. Just in our district, about 49%, that's half of our kiddos in the county, have chronic sadness, right? Or feel isolated. That's half of our kiddos. And 14% have seriously thought about suicide. I can go on and on in terms of the data that I have, because we run those crisis programs in the county, but I can only tell you, it's not going to be clinical therapists that will help this shift. It's going to be all of you here, all of you, even the ones picking up the mail, that really change and can impact the life of kids. Research around youth development states that it just takes one caring adult to transform the life of a child. In academic institutions, just like my institution of government, we have a mandate to ensure that we are those role models, that we're working our tails off to get you those resources. So I'm pledging to you that I am putting all of my commitment, all of my pasión into supporting what's happening here. Everybody kind of knows already. I have a bias for South County, and I will continue to have a bias for South County, because I see the inequities, but I also see the resiliency that you're able to build in schools. I am a product of that, and I am grateful and thankful for everything that you guys are doing. So thank you, and with that, I'll pass it back to Elisa.
Our next presentation is going to be a demonstration of some music out of New School. Ms. Garaldi, I know you're here, our principal from New School. So if I get stuck, she'll come up and sing.
I don't think you guys want that. I can play my flute for you.
I also want to say, Monica was my student.
Yes, I was.
I was her principal back then. She never was in trouble, so she came to the office to visit with Lupe. But I remember her smiling face. She doesn't look like she's aged that much. And I'll tell you, the teachers she had at that time were some of the finest that I ever worked with. All right, be quiet. Enjoy. Be quiet. Meet. He'll fix it.
We do want to hear their voices.
He'll fix it. He'll fix it. Nice crowd. Thanks for being here. Kumbaya. Do we have anybody, since John Laird mentioned the hospital and he was so involved in getting the district here, do we have anybody who serves on the hospital board out here? Tony Nunez! Where'd you go to high school, Tony?
Watsonville High School. Class of 2010.
When did you graduate, Tony?
The same year you retired.
Tony was a wonderful student at Watsonville High. We had a bunch of wonderful students. He's going on to do great things in our community. We're trying to kill some time here. Good stuff. Tony worked for the Pajaronian, and we're really grateful. Good friends with my son.
You can also highlight Jasmine Navarrete, who was on the
Where's
board.
Jasmine?
Will too.
Oh, there's the Hey, Jasmine. She's giving me the look. And who's next to you? Who's that person next to you?
Jim Ponce, I work with the hospital. Class of 96, Watsonville High.
And Jasmine, who's that gentleman on your other side? Oh, okay. We heard it before.
We did.
All right. Rather than have you wait, I'd like to keep us going. If I could get your attention.
But I don't know what time that is.
I have a video I also want to share, but we'll wait till the sound comes back so we can figure out our sound. But I have, I'd like to share my presentation that highlights what I perceive as the state of our school district. Okay, so most of you, and now that Laura's here, we can begin. Most of you know I'm from this area. I left the district as the assistant superintendent in 2015 and came back
this year to serve as your interim superintendent. I'm really using that youthful vernacular. I'm stoked. It's a challenging job, but I am surrounded by really gifted people, really dedicated, and our two guest speakers, I feel really proud about what they highlighted in our district. We have humongous challenges, but every school district has a certain level of challenges. We're perhaps a little more unique in how we stand in the Central Coast. We have kind of a different area in the north compared to the south, but we're one district. We're totally one district, which is really a strength of the district. So let me take a little walk. Some of you have heard me speak in the past are nervous. You start to look at your watch and you say, this guy talks a lot. Not anymore, not anymore. I promise. It's not the first one. There, that's the first one. Day one, August 15th, 2023 was our first day on with kids coming back. I started on the 17th of July, and I think today's my 67th day. I'm counting. I counted for today. I have a presentation tonight. The school year began. I stopped at Aptos Junior to begin my career back here, and I saw these girls running out of their cars. They hadn't seen each other for the summer, 7th or 8th grade, so they're very exuberant. And their hands were raised, and they yelled out, "We can hug! We can hug!" And they proceeded to do that. Many of you have already heard that story, but it was so sweet for me to come back and see the kind of joy that our kids had, and our teachers had, and our administrators had, and all our employees had, to kind of be normal again. My words was there was a lust for normalcy. We were delighted. I was delighted. Almost all of our teaching positions were filled. Not every district around can say that. We have our folks in HR who give a lot of good credit for that, but it was a district effort. I'm not going to show you Mr. Gomez
It may
yet.
work, it may work. Let's see.
Okay, you're pretty optimistic. There was music right off the bat. This is a wonderful teacher at PV High. He's talking about ethnic studies, and I will say, when I was away teaching in the counseling ed department at San Jose State, I was reading about the requirement for ethnic studies. And I wondered how districts were going to handle it. This district, I don't get any credit, really did a yeoman's job, did an incredible job of extending the content through a variety of classrooms. Art, U.S. history, what else? Government, and world history. So we're able to see it extended through the talent and training of our teachers through a variety of content. That's what Mr. Gomez would have talked about. So let me get back to my show. Another thing that I think is a strength, this district has done some really good planning in extending kindergarten to be full day and including TK all over the place. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you can see one of the outcomes that is really positive is literacy. Our district is doing a great job in helping our little ones transition to English. The state, I mean, when you look at our test scores, you won't see me brag, but when you see the literacy of our young kids, the literacy growth, the learning of a second language, we're rated high by the state of California. And so I really love to see those statistics. I really love to see what the leaders in this district have done for the last few years to plan, to see kindergarten become full day, to see TK in place. There was a really cool article in the Sentinel on our first day, on that August 15th. They highlighted our growth of kindergarten, and they interviewed Heather Bailey, our principal at Radcliffe, and she talked about very specifically what the kids are able to do because it's a full day. And so it's a great source of pride for me. And I have to admit, my background isn't
in elementary. And so my first few weeks on the job, we lost our elementary assistant sup. So I decided, well, I'm going to go visit elementary schools. I was looking at 2 of our elementary principals, and it was a new experience for me. I mean, I had little kids, but now they're all grown up. But I realized what happens at the elementary, and I hope this makes some sense. The kids at this age, they feed the adults. They give you the kind of love sometimes we don't always get in our high schools. I have yet to see a group of 12th graders give me a hug. But I was at, where was I? I was at Radcliffe, and I was in a kindergarten class. It was a class near the office. And I was just walking through the class, and the teacher and I had met before. And this one little boy comes up and hugs me. And the whole class came up and did the same thing. And I see my elementary colleagues smiling. They're used to it. So let's talk about one of our challenges, and that's our declining enrollment. It's something that we have to take account. It means we have less money, and it means that we'll have fewer employees. I commend the district, even though this is a real hard thing to swallow. This district, and I don't get any credit, has not laid people off because of our declining enrollment. Our leadership has done it through attrition. We hope we can still do that, but we have to plan for it. We have to plan for it, and that kind of planning means we're not going to do a lot of hiring, and that's a sad fact. We may not be declining as much as we have in the past. We might have leveled off a little bit, but our numbers are still a little unsettled. So that you can see, over 21,000 in 2015, and then we dropped 26. Our projection was 15.2. Last I saw, it looked like we were closer to 15.3. And I invite all of you in this room on December 7th, we're going to have a study session on declining enrollment. School Services Association in the state of California has really good contact with businesses in the schools. And they're going to come and they're going to provide their expertise. We're going to hear from a CBO, a chief business officer from a school district who should have closed some schools but didn't. And that CBO will describe the pain that they're going through now in trying to build programs and spend money. We have to plan for it, whether we like it or not. And so I'm proud that we are planning for it. And December 7th, we'll have some really good expertise in the room, and I invite all of you. Okay? Areas of focus, not a source of strength in our district at this point. Our CASP results are not anything that we'll brag about. You can, if you see the comparison with the state of California, not just these numbers, we haven't slipped as much as our local districts around us, but there's nothing to brag about here. We've got to do better, we will do better, and my push in my 1 year here is to have a hyper-focus on it. I'm asking teachers, what happened? And we will do better, but it's a challenge, but we have the right people in the right place to do so. Family engagement, it's a strength of our district. And I see Michael Berman walking around. Hopefully he's smiling because he's a director, and I think that title, that family engagement, is in his title. We had a really cool conference over the weekend for parents. Usually it's done at a different time, right? So we tried to do it a little bit earlier. It was very successful. I was really honored to be there. But we have tremendous opportunities for parents. It's a struggle to raise kids. Anybody disagree? Nobody disagrees with that. It's a struggle to deal with poverty. It's a struggle to wonder where your next meal is going to come from. The Pajaro Valley is in a position to help every family around. And I really mean that. I've worked in 4 different districts at the district level. Some are really, they're all good. But nobody does this stuff better than the Pajaro Valley Unified School District. And has for years. Has made a decision, whether it's in leadership or at a school site. We've got to do the right thing for our parents and their families. And the outreach is tremendous. We've had tremendous issues during COVID and the pandemic. Every district suffered. Our attendance was incredibly difficult. And we're working hard on it to improve it. We wrote Dr. Alcaraz wrote a wonderful grant to focus simply on attendance. And I know we'll get better there, and that'll help with our kids' learning, and will help with our test scores. But in terms of what we do Monday through, no, 7 days a week. We really are there for our families, and that's what schools need to be, and it's a source of pride from beginning to end. Come on. Hello. There. So just some pictures that show the level of engagement. Our Watsonville folks, they left. This is from their parade. You know, it's a sentimental journey for me, being their former principal, so I went and took a few pictures. But these are from the conference that was held over the weekend. And you see these all around our community. Alianza had a really ugly one. Somebody wrote to me, and the principal of Alianza, and so she has a person right around the corner who builds these, and they're all over our district. It's just so sweet to see these little community libraries. I have a book that I have to return. All right, continued recovery and resilience. I'll let you read it. One of the most important parts of my job this year is seeing Pajaro Middle School open in time. And it's so amazing to see what our kids are going through. This district last year, in March, no, not last year, this year, March of 2023, the floods came. And the district couldn't do anything but take the kids and put them in Lakeview. I had an intern at Pajaro Middle School when I was a teacher in the counseling ed department, and so I placed interns all over this district, quite honestly. And the intern transferred over to Lakeview with Jose Morelos, a wonderful counselor in our district. And so I was able to see what was going on at Lakeview, and it was tough. It was tough. There was nothing else this district could do. And so it was really hard for the kids and the staff. And then over the summer, and into the spring actually, the spring into the summer, the district did some really good planning. I give the leadership, the previous superintendent and the cabinet and the principals a lot of credit for what was set up to begin this year. They hired a brilliant principal. Where did she go? Where is she? She's right here. Right there. Ms. Krishunas. She's one principal of two schools. Both the assistant principals one from Pajaro, one from Lakeview are there, and so it's one school. The kids are in separate classes, but when I visited last year to meet my counselor, the Pajaro Middle School parents reported to another place. It's one school. Thank you, Kate. It's one school, so the kids have a better sense of belonging. There's still two schools, and it's still this district's fervent desire, strong goal, that our kids at Lakeview who belong to Pajaro are back at Pajaro. Last week I got a nice hat and a nice t-shirt, and it had two birds on it. Well, no, not two birds. A panther and an eagle. And they were merged together, and that's the symbolism that we want our kids to feel, that sense of belonging at that one school. And I really give the leadership and the teachers there a lot of credit. So I visited the sixth graders at both Ohlone and Hall District, and I really appreciate the leadership that's making them feel welcome. And again, I don't have the background of elementary, so I asked the kids, what do you like about being here? And I asked them what you don't like, but what they like is we're with our elementary teacher. They felt a sense of belonging already because they were K-5 at that school. So thank you to the leadership there. Thank you to the leadership from last year for the good planning. Putting those sixth graders there made it work for the seventh and eighth graders at Lakeview and others. Good planning, good leadership, and we're going to give them back to Pajaro Middle. You know, some people are asking, is it going to be rebuilt? Well, no, we can't rebuild it. FEMA was helpful, without 100%. And the way Clint Rucker explained to me about how the insurance works, because it was a flood, we'll get things covered up to like our ankles. So we don't get it all covered, but FEMA has done a good job for us. And we'll have a new floor in the gym, a new floor. It'll be a pretty school. It'll be beautiful for our kids to So the sixth graders are doing well there. Some of the things that they said they missed, they were looking forward to competitive sports. And it's a little bit different at the elementary school. But they're in good shape, the learning is good, and the 4 teachers are awesome. More a little bit about Pajaro Middle, money figures for you. It'll cost a little bit to clean up. And hold us to it. We have some of the finest workers in our maintenance and operations division, and Hurley's over there, and he works with a guy named Sergio Ambris, who went to school with Tony, was also my student, graduated at the same time. And those guys are so committed to opening those doors at Pajaro Middle School. I'm very optimistic it will happen. All right, coming to my closing. We'll try it. We got Mr. Tirado. And here's what I know are the strengths of this district, and John Laird and Monica described them also. I don't need to read that to you. We have the best people who collaborate left and right. I've worked in Salinas, I've worked in Castroville, I've worked in San Mateo. All good people, all good districts, but when, is this being recorded? When the shit hits the fan, people get together. I'm an interim, I can do that. People put aside their differences and work together. All the time. And I really mean that sincerely. It makes probably the main reason I chose to come back. My wife is the one who said, wow, you ought to think about that. So thank you. Whatever the culture is that brought such love and kindness together to solve the problems that we deal with, thank you. I have, half this room is filled with the employees of the district, and the other half are guests, maybe a little less than that. But that's also the strength of our district. We've got people who are representing all sorts of nonprofits. We've got people who just love the kids in our district, who donate time, and you're here today too. So I really thank you. That's it for my presentation. I'd love for you to see the new school music video, because we have a teacher there and some equipment there that, man, it's just fabulous what the kids get to do. And then I'd love for you to hear Sadina Gomez, the teacher from PBI, talking about how to study. So here we go. Whichever one you want to show. Thank you, everybody. There's a written exam as you walk out. There we go.
I really think I can be a producer and make something out of this stuff. Making new beats every day. In this class.
Hear heaven. We've been trying to hear it.
Yeah, thank you.
I didn't do that. It was Mr. Girado.
Doing this class and opened my mind, and it made me produce a lot of beats that I didn't think I made. And I really think I can be a producer and make something out of this class. Making new beats every day and sampling like classic songs.
Hi, Ms. Bum. I really appreciate this class that Juan is teaching us at the school, because I think it's summer semesters. I like to thought that I have the knowledge and I really do want to pursue this career in music or any type of audio that I have some experience in doing it. So I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to have Juan come over here and teach us the drum drum.
I really appreciate that we have this class because I think it's a great opportunity for us to express our creativity, especially now that we're in the golden age of music where there's so many types of music, so many different styles. I know that a lot of my peers enjoy just messing around or genuinely taking it seriously, but overall, I'm glad that we got the opportunity to have this equipment to express it.
Thank you, G.
Good morning. My name is Sandino Gomez, and I'm a ethnic studies teacher here at Pajaro Valley High School. Really proud, really excited to sort of implement our new ethnic studies history classes. I'm a history teacher, and I've been teaching history for 5 years now. And for the past, this is my 3rd year teaching ethnic studies. We have worked really hard with a cross-school collaboration. We have teachers at Aptos High, Watsonville High, and I'm here at Pajaro Valley High, working together to create history classes that include the perspectives of people of color, and kind of inserting an understanding of identity into our understanding of history and the way that we look at the world ultimately today. We have taught world history for 2 years now, and we're now teaching our 3rd year of world history ethnic studies, which includes a kind of critical look at colonialism, imperialism, and how identity has shaped the way of like our recent modern world history. And this is the 1st year that we're teaching U.S. history ethnic studies, which is a look at the incredible multiracial, multi-ethnic history that exists here in the United States. Racial makeup might be, you could be treated differently in certain places, and you could be treated fairly or unfairly based on the color of your skin, and also based on like your ethnicity, what people think, where you come from and who you are. It can totally impact how you're treated, it can impact sort of how you interact with other people as well.
Hi, my name is Josephina Guayo, but I go by Ray. I am a Hispanic American living in California, and I am a junior or an 11th grader attending Pajaro Valley High School. I'm taking the U.S. History Ethnic Studies course with Mr. Sandina. Well, the class is a U.S. history class, so we basically learn about the history of the United States, where we live in. But because it's in ethnic studies, we focus more on identity. There's this word that we basically focus on the entire year. It's called intersectionality. I mean, it is intersectionality. And what it refers to is how different components of your identity, how they come together to either affect you in a negative or in a positive way. I like that we don't just focus on the dominant narrative, the winners of the story of the winners. We focus more on the different perspective.
Another main takeaway about age is our government has a big impact in our age rules, such as having certain rules for certain ages, such as when you're able to train and etc.
Yeah, right? Can't vote till you're 18, can't drive till you're 16, can't drink till you're 21, can't gamble or do lottery till you're 18, right? There's all these age-based milestones where you get more freedoms as you get more older, but what's something else you get as you get older? More freedoms and more arthritis. Yeah. Arthritis eventually.
I'm learning about how our identity, culture, and how we grew up can affect our lives now and who we are as a person. Other classes just focus on getting the work done, but in Mr. Sandino's class, he focuses on building a relationship with other students and how we can further improve our own performances in other classes, who we are as a person, and understanding empathy and compassion towards other students, making the school better.
So it can absolutely actually help you mentally and physically. The two can benefit each other. So I like that you brought up the point of interconnectedness between our mental state and our mental health and our physical body and our physical health. That's a great connection.
One of the main takeaways and key ideas about mind and body is stigma. Stigma is a set of unfair treatments set by negative beliefs that certain people in society have about others. As an example, for people who have mental illness can be seen as crazy or incompetent. However, this is not true. A second main idea of mind and body is stereotypes. Stereotypes are a set of specific and oversimplified characteristics in a person's
My name is Angel. I'm a junior at Pajaro Valley High School, and I'm part of Sandino's Ethnic Studies class. He keeps us really updated with everything that's going on right now. Like, they don't really try to like hide anything, or they show us things that people are trying to like hide, so we don't like know about it because it's controversial. But most of the time, it's for our good. Like the kids in Montana, I think it was Montana, that won against the state for cleaner air. And they're also just really cool teachers. Like they will do everything in their power to make sure you're doing okay. And anyone you know in your class that they're doing okay, even if they're not in his class, they want to make sure that like Jacob and Sandino both want to make sure like everybody's just doing good. And they're not building anything in their power to make it right.
I just want to say like what an honor it is to be able to kind of implement California's Ethnic Studies program, and I'm really stoked that PBSD is taking such a great holistic approach to ethnic studies. While a lot of school districts are kind of creating their own standalone ethnic studies classes, I think PBSD is really leading and being very innovative by creating ethnic studies classes that focus on like English classes and literature classes, like looking at authors of color and writers of color and the perspectives that they include in their literature and their stories, looking at history and the different perspectives of people of color in our history, and looking at art and the amazing perspectives that artists of color have brought to the art world. So PBSD, by implementing ethnic studies in our English, history, and art classes, is really innovating and leading the way. And I'm just proud to be part of that work, and just shout out to all my colleagues and all the people that have put in a lot of work, and everyone who's helped make ethnic studies what it is today, because it's something I'm really proud of. So yeah, I just want to say that and share that.
Sandino Gomez is the kind of teacher that Monica talked about, that one adult, and the research really does back that up. So Stephanie, are you around, Stephanie Monroe?
Yes.
Come on down, Stephanie Monroe. About to see Visual and Performing Arts, art director, Stephanie Monroe.
Thank you, everyone. What?
Sound is working.
I'm going to stay away from the mic and I'll just use my big voice. Thank you all for being here. This is really exciting. I know Senator John Laird was here earlier. I think that he's gone now. I just want to thank you all. I want to thank our interim superintendent, Mr. Murray Sheffman. I want to thank our board of trustees and our cabinet members and my amazing boss, Ms. Peggy Pugh, the director of teaching and learning, for all of their support of the arts. We all know that the arts makes children better students. We know that it increases attendance rates and improves academic outcomes and social emotional well-being. And we are so lucky to be in a district that is so supportive of the arts. So I just want to say thank you all for being here. We got to hear the Mustang Mallet ensemble earlier today, and that was fantastic. And now we're going to have an opportunity to hear the TV High School marching band. I think but they are going to perform for us just shortly. They're just getting their instruments together, and they are under the direction of Reed Alanis, a fantastic band director at Pajaro Valley High. So thank you again, everyone.
like to offer while we're waiting? The band's about to come in. Anybody have a good, clean joke? Andrew only has other jokes? Elementary principal? Any questions?
Murray, do we know how long it's been since we had a marching band in PBUSD? Because music was cut so long ago.
Well, I can recall in the mid-'80s, Watsonville High had a pretty vibrant marching band. That went away at some point. But here comes a burgeoning marching band out of Pajaro Valley High School. What has happened in music in this district is sensational. It really is sensational. You probably know the Save the Schools grant brought a lot of instruments in, about $1 million worth, and built in the requirement. Every kid's got to get it. The district's been very successful. I'll be quiet so you can hear it. Right. How you doing, Rhea? You're happy here.
Stephanie's doing a great job. Yeah, I know.
KCW. Awesome. Okay, nice to meet you too. All right, here we go.
Oh, no, I'm not sure. That's fine. It's like a scenario.
Go Grizzlies. Thank you. Appreciate it. I want to close by giving some thanks. I got here about 7:30 today, and I worked with 3 incredible ladies, and there were about 15 people here today. So the 3 who work with me, and I don't even know how many else were here, but Alicia, Andrea, and Eva, wherever you are. I told the board I probably was going to be a little bit rusty coming back to this kind of work. These 3 ladies, they make me look a lot better than I really am. But if you, yeah, thank you, Eva. But there was a lot of folks from HR and elsewhere. Please stand if you were here early. Susanna, Veronica, thank you so much. I also want to thank all the employees who are here. Nancy Billison, she's a busy lady, right? At least she tells me that. Our principals are all very busy. I served in their spot. Our coordinators, everybody's really busy. But they took the time to be here today in one place with a common message. Yeah, we got challenges, but I have no better group, including our guests, to solve the issues related to our achievement and the trauma that our kids went through over the last few years. We're back, baby. Thank you for being here.